First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming today. If you have not met me yet, I'm Sandra Friedman, the Director of the Center for Accessibility and Learning Services, which I'm very happy to say. I'm very, very proud to have Simon Bonifat with us today and his mother, Mrs. Maria Seferati. They taught us a lot of things when Simon first came to Chestnut Hill College, because this is the first time we had ever had a student who had been blind since birth. And it's hard to believe that he is now a senior and going to be graduating in the spring. So we will miss him a lot. I'd like to read a little bit about Simon. He serves as a performer and outreach coordinator for Harm Musicians, LLC. He works as a cultural accessibility consultant for Philly Touch Tours, the Audio Description Learning Network, and serves as the chairperson of the accessibility cohort of Greater Philadelphia. He is also a professional actor with Acting Without Borders, as well as the REV Theater Company. One of his professors wrote to me when they saw that I was having this presentation today and said, "Simon has been one of the most wonderful experiences of all my years here at Chestnut Hill College." I hope I don't embarrass the professors here. Each student in our honors course will affirm that Simon was an amazing gift to each of us throughout the year. He sees and understands so much more than only visual appearances. So grateful that he will have to that he is able to have this chance to share with everybody else. So thank you, and I thank you very much. And I now give you Simon and Mrs. Seferati.
Well, thank you all very much for coming, and Mrs. Friedman, I'd like to thank you for organizing this and offering me the opportunity and being such an advocate for me as I've moved through my time here at CHC. And it's been really just a wonderful partnership that we've had over the years. So I thank you for all that, as I know it will continue to be. So before we start, I'd like to know from the folks here, who's here, and that helps me to know who's in the room and the people I know and maybe the people I don't know and whatnot. So if I can go around the room and ask people to say their name and their affiliation with the college.
Hi, I'm Alex Liska. I'm a success advisor in the sciences. I've been here since January.
My name is Victoria. I'm a student here. Junior year.
I'm Kathy Moser. I'm the new director of the library.
Soy tu profesora Blanca.
Sister Catherine Woodlowski.
Wonderful.
I'm Sister Kathy Gurney, and Chris, I'm a religious studies professor, director of Institute. But one of the greatest things that ever happened was I had Simon in an honors course, which was a great gift.
Dr. Lisa, literacy specialist.
I'm Liz McGowan. I'm an adjunct special education professor.
Mrs. Friedman again.
I'm Julia Dugan. I'm the assistant director of the neurodiversity program.
Carissa Swiss, professor and director of the Montessori program.
Krista Murphy. I'm the VP of Strategic Education, and I work every day with songwriting classes.
Great. Oh, sorry.
Kim Wolzak. Simon knows me as Kim Irvine. I had Simon in class. I'm here for diversity, equity, inclusion, and full-time business faculty.
John Watson.
Hi, Simon. I'm a senior too. And yeah.
I'm Lubega, I'm a student in special education.
Doris Schmalk, Simon's voice teacher.
That's
Wonderful. Well, it is so nice to have all of you here. I am very honored to hear from the folks that I do know, and definitely interested to know the folks that I don't. So thank you very much for taking the time to come out of your very busy day and listen to me talk about some of the work that I do and some of the endeavors that I'm in outside of Chestnut Hill College that people may not know about me. What I would like to do after the fact of this presentation, I'm going to send out some resources and links to where you can find me in other places and some of the things I've talked about today. I thought that might be a nice way to do it rather than putting it on the presentation when not everybody would have access to that afterwards. So I can give my email at the end of the presentation, and if you'd like to receive some follow-up links, send me an email and I'll put something together for folks to have after. So as you heard, I'm Simon Bonifant. I am a senior. It's gone by really fast. It's my college career, so that's one of the things that's really amazing. I'm very happy to have been so blessed here at CHC and now being able to look back at my accomplishments and be able to share some of that with you all. In addition to me being a student, I am a singer. I sing professionally, both in the church realm, but also in the secular realm. I have a business, Hire Musicians LLC. That's a co-run business with me and a friend of mine. I also am an actor with Acting Without Boundaries. We'll hear a little bit more about that later, but that's a theater group for actors with disabilities. I've been acting my whole life in plays and musicals and that type of work. I also am a podcaster. I work for 2 blindness podcasts, a Blind Abilities podcast and also the White Canes Connect podcast. And Blind Abilities is a podcast that reaches all over the globe. I'm not the sole contributor. I'm one of the 2 hosts of that, and we have about 25,000 downloads per month on those podcasts. And then the White Canes Connect podcast is a initiative for the National Federation of the Blind of Pennsylvania, and it's more of a local type initiative. And I do interviews of people in the blindness field, whether it be talking about their stories, the accomplishments that they have for technology products, when people market products, that kind of thing. You're going to be hearing me talk a little bit about my technology and how that's been a big part of my life later on. But I also am the chairperson of the Accessibility Cohort of Greater Philadelphia, which is a group of cultural institutions all throughout the city of Philadelphia and the surrounding area who are working to make all of their programming fully accessible to all disabilities. And we have a monthly meeting, and I was recently appointed as the chairperson to lead the initiatives there. I also am the marketing director for the Audio Description Learning Network, so I market all of the audio described opportunities in this region, and we'll get to what that is in a bit. I'll turn it over to my mom, Maria Seferati, to say a few words about herself as well, and then we'll get going.
I'm going to change the slide. Can I do that? Okay. So my name is Maria Seferati, and I am about 5'3". I have dark hair, dark eyes, and I'm in my mid-life, age-wise. I'm going to now describe the room. So this is a fairly large room. It has kind of light-colored walls, and the wood framing around the windows is wood-colored. There is to my left, there is a grand piano kind of tucked away in the corner. The room is set with about 100 chairs, and there's probably 20-ish people in the room. You had everybody introduced. We had a couple people come in a little later. If you want to say hello and just quickly introduce yourself so Simon knows who's here. Go on.
I'm Nancy McKelly, I work in the career office.
I'm Andrea Deering, I also work in the career office.
Oh, great. Thank you. Welcome.
Great.
There's hardwood floors, and the room is surrounded, much of the room is surrounded by large windows letting a lot of light in. And there's an exit doors on the right, and exit to, my right, and on my left is the exit doors into the rotunda.
Great. So do you want to explain why did you do that?
Because so that you would have a layout of the room. It's also difficult when there's sound being projected from a microphone, speakers. A person without a lot of vision or with no vision doesn't really know where the sound is coming from. So understanding the layout of the room and where things are located, who's here, is really beneficial.
Right. So that is an example of verbal description, and that may be a little bit unfamiliar to folks. The other part of that was that she described herself and what she looked like a little bit and some of that information. And that is very crucial for me to have an idea of what's around me. Verbal description at a basic level is just getting a concept of what does a room look like? What does a scene look like in terms of, through a window or anything like that, anything in the world. That's how verbal description works. And it's very nuanced. One of the things that I do as well, I also work as a cultural accessibility consultant with a company called Philly Touch Tours. And we specialize in verbal description, audio description, and we go around to museums and theaters and gardens and all kinds of cultural institutions, and we train their staff and we make customized programming on how to interact with the blind and visually impaired and universal design techniques. So a big part of that is verbal description. And my mom is also a certified audio describer. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, well, the audio description, it says on the screen there, involves accessibility of visual images in theater, TV, movies. So because Simon and I work in live performance, and we work with a lot of actors who have disabilities, it's important that the actors and our audience members who have low vision or no vision know what's happening on stage when there's no dialogue. So we write and kind of bake into our performances audio description that we have someone read live in the theater so everyone can hear when a character maybe is walking across stage without saying anything, or entering the scene but there's no dialogue to signal that actor. Simon, I forgot, there's a huge, gorgeous fireplace behind you that I did not mention in my verbal description. So
I apologize. How could I miss that?
Yeah, great. All right, we're going to go to our next slide. I know you'll have to change that, right? Okay. And what I'd like to do, maybe if we hear from two people, I'd like to ask a question for people to ponder. Is it respectable to be blind? Why or why not? This was a question, this was a statement that was made by one of the past presidents of the National Federation of the Blind, which is an organization that I'm involved in very frequently. And the statement was, it is respectable to be blind. But I posed it as a question today because I wanted people to think about, if you never thought about it before, why? So maybe can we hear from two folks who might want to say if you believe it's respectable to be blind and why? Any thoughts about that? And any thoughts about, is it respectable? Is it honorable? Is it acceptable? Maybe be another way to describe that, to be blind.
We talk about it, how we can see the moon.
Yeah. If you want to say something, just say your name and you can speak to us. Yeah.
Profe Blanca.
Yes.
When I first saw the question, I was taken aback. I didn't expect to see a question like that. And how can anyone not be respected? I don't understand how you would even put blindness with that word. It should be a nondescript. Respect is for everyone, no matter what. So I was just surprised.
Okay.
Krista, I agree with Professor. I was taken aback also, and when you use the word honorable as a secondary describer for that question, that struck me in a different way. So I think it's honorable how all of us navigate life, and how all of us come to the table with different abilities. And sometimes the things that maybe are because our disabilities are actually our superpower, allow us to be truly connected in ways that someone else couldn't be. So the word honorable really spoke to me in a way that respectful when I first saw it, I had the same reaction as Professor, and then I don't know, it felt like felt hurtful or something like that for using that word.
That's a good point. Respectable can mean different things to different people. I think the reason why I find it so powerful is that not everybody thinks that way. Not everybody thinks everyone should have the same opportunities or the same respect or be given the same level of dignity as what you both have pointed out. And so I'm glad that that was a discussion point. The truth is that it is respectable to be blind because, as you both pointed out, I'm just like anybody else. And the way you would respect someone that's sighted is the same way you'd respect someone that's blind. And what that means is that I want to be treated the same way. I want to have the same opportunities. I'm interested in the same culture, in the same society that everyone else is. There's no difference to that. So I'm glad that that was pointed out. Thank you for that. And I use that term as an exercise. I mean, of course, I would say everyone would say, yes, it is, but it kind of, it's supposed to make people think a little bit, I think, why I use that question. Okay, we're going to go to the next slide. And what I'm going to do for the next few minutes is demonstrate how I do things and some of the tools that I use and the techniques that I use to navigate my environment and to live as anyone else would. And really, everything that I do is adapting. I could do anything that others can, it's just that I do it in a different way, or I use a different tool or a different technique. Many of you know that I was born blind. I have retinopathy of prematurity, so I was born early and my retina is detached, and that was the reason for my blindness. And in terms of the way that I have led my life, it is a choice. Some would say it's not, but it is. It is a choice whether to live life to the fullest, embrace new opportunities, put myself in situations that will help me in my career, in my schooling, to put myself out there. It is a choice to say, am I going to live a full and productive life? And once I have made that choice, everything then becomes, okay, how do I then do what I want to do? I have a goal. I have something I want to achieve. What tools, what skill sets, what adaptations do I need to achieve that goal? And that is really what has dictated my life. And part of the reason why I'm here, and as I read the list of things that I do earlier and some of the accomplishments that I've had, it's because I don't let things stop me. And here's a little bit of what I do. So we're going to talk about the cane, which obviously everyone's seen me use the cane, but you might not know exactly how it works. And also we're going to talk about something called Sighted Guide, which a lot of people see me do, but a lot of times they have questions about. So I'm going to have my mom demonstrate this. We're going to talk about Sighted Guide, which is a navigational technique that I'm sure you've all seen me do if you see me around the campus. And it's a way that blind and sighted people can navigate safely and together. So I'm going to hold out my right hand and I'm going to take my mom's left elbow, and we're going to walk around the room. Now, I've chose to use my cane, but I don't have to use my cane. If I'm being guided by someone that really knows what they're doing and knows what to tell me, I don't necessarily need it, but I do both. What are some of the things that you, as a sighted guide, are going to think to describe when we're going through an environment?
There are steps. I will let you know, okay, steps are coming up, they're going up, or they're going down, so you can kind of plan.
That's the first thing you always want to know.
If we're going through a narrow space like a doorway, sometimes you learn the hard way when you were younger that I forget that only one person can fit through the doorway, and you kind of, slam into the wall a little bit. So we do this technique, which I learned later, where,
It's called narrow space technique. It's called,
bring my arm behind me, and then Simon will understand that it's a narrow space, and you'll put your
My hand
to your
closer,
wrist,
yes.
and then we'll kind of go single file through that space. And otherwise, we're kind of shoulder to shoulder, and we're walking at a natural pace, and you're able to,
keep up.
Yes, and you would also tell me, do I need the cane to be compacted or more open? If it's
Yes, I'll say use pencil grip, because we run the risk of tripping people. And
yeah, it's called pencil grip. Yeah, and a lot of times,
that brings back to
yes, a lot of times people really want to help. Like in this situation, if they were to see me out and about or whatnot, but they don't know how to help. And it's very common that people will come up to me and grab me and pull me where they think I need to go. And why I say where they think I need to go is because they don't bother asking me where I'm trying to go, or they think, oh, Simon's trying to go this way. So they grab me and try to pull me in a direction. That's not good. I understand that everyone's not going to know how to do this technique, but the best takeaway that I can give is just ask. If you don't know something, just ask. If you don't know, maybe I do need help, maybe I don't need help with something. Just a simple question is opening a dialogue for me to give the appropriate answer that's safe, because in a lot of situations, if somebody grabs me and tries to pull me somewhere, it's not safe, but it's also giving me the agency and independence to say, oh, thank you for asking. I'm trying to do, whatever I'm trying to do. And again, maybe I need the help, maybe I don't. So that's just a rule of thumb. Let's go to the next slide. We're going to talk about some of the devices that I use. What I'm using to read this speech right now is called a Braille note taker. It's called a Braille Note Touch. And I can oh, right, so you can see that. Basically, how this works, it's a Braille computer. It's a fully functioning Braille computer. The Braille display, which I'm touching, it's called a Braille display. It's got one line of Braille, so 32 cells are on this one line. And this is absolutely integral for me, what I use on a day-to-day basis. I love Braille. I've used it my whole life. And I read it for my music, when I sing, when I take notes in class, when I do presentations like this. It's something that always is just so impactful to me. It gives me the ability to do what I need to do throughout my life and to succeed professionally and personally. It also has a speech program, which is a screen reader. And I'm going to try to turn this up a little bit. It's not going to be projected, but all right, so that's what it sounds like. And if I go up right now, I'm in my document here, and I have the slide titles here. So if I start having it read, this is what it sounds like. So there you go. That's what it sounds like. And that's an example of one of the other types of technology that I use a lot, which is a screen reader. And so it reads out the screen to me, what's being said, what's being displayed, which brings me to my next point, which is to show my phone. And this is something that people find very interesting because I'm going to take out my phone. It's a regular phone. It's an iPhone, fully touchscreen. Now, you might be wondering, well, how does a fully touchscreen device get used by the blind? Because, you know, the Braille note, it's got buttons. A computer has buttons. Well, again, the screen reader takes care of all of this information. So the way that I use the screen is a different way than you would use the screen. So I'm going to...
You put your screen
I'm going to...
on speaker. Okay.
All right. So...
That from above to...
All right. So one of the things that I... well, let's see. Do you have the mic? All right. So try to put it up to the phone and you can hear...
2:26 p.m. 2:26 p.m. Wednesday, November 13th. 2:26 p.m.
All right. So that's... Yeah, I'm going to. That is how fast I listen to things generally. And that is... Yeah, let's see. That's at 75%. I'll show you how fast I can go.
85%, 90%, 2:26 p.m.
90%.
November 13th. Do not serve. Button. Or talk. Do not serve. Or talk. 9 p.m. Heading to Central College. Button.
So that's how fast I can go. And again, when it comes to adaptations, that's an adaptation. I can easily read my information much faster than you would be able to see the information just reading it with your eyes. And how I did that is because I was able to use my ears to practice. It's all practice. Some people think, a lot of people think that I was able to do the screen reader that fast because of my hearing, and my hearing is better. My hearing is not better. That's one of the misconceptions. My hearing is not actually better. It's just that I use my hearing in a different way. I have trained my ears to gradually increase the speed. I didn't wake up one day starting to use the phone at 90%. I would go 5 percentage points in probably 3-4 days. And eventually, when my phone was, 25%, it became normal and 20% became slower. And I was able to do that up until I can, read extremely fast. So I'm going to slow the phone down a little bit.
2:27 p.m.
And show you what is, what are some of the things that I can do.
That special software.
Well, it's called VoiceOver. Anyone has it. Everyone has this type of software, but obviously you wouldn't know how to use it necessarily, but you would be able to turn it on if you'd like and check it out. Yeah, anybody can do that. It comes with it. So I will show you, let's say I wanted to search something in my settings here. I want to search, and I'll show you how I type. Let's say I want to get into accessibility settings. Well, I know exactly kind of where it is on the screen, but I'll type it in, and I'll show you how you can see how I type. So basically, how I do this, okay, I put my finger on the screen, find the letter I want,
Delete. Tab A. C.
and I lift my finger
Tab A. Delete.
when I want to enter the number or the letter. So I'll show you how I type this.
Tab A. C. E. S. I. V. B. I. L. U. I. R. T. Y. Search. Keep search results.
Yep.
Guided access. General. Fate. Display and audio and video. Accessibility shortcut. Accessibility. Go right in there. There I am.
So it's very quick. I have things memorized on the screen. I know kind of where...
Switch control. Fate touch. Physical and audio descriptions.
I know where
VoiceOver.
the VoiceOver is. I tap on that. I double tap. So the way I do something is, whereas you would navigate to an item and just tap it, I double tap. I hear it, double tap.
Punctuation. Links. VoiceOver.
There you go. So it's an extremely easy process. Let me show you another neat thing. There are a few apps on the phone that are quite the thing. And I don't always explain this. I'm just going to show it. So, open Be My AI. Open.
It doesn't look like.
Open Be My Eyes. Hi. I've opened up an app called Be My Eyes. And what I'm going to do, do this. You're going to be witnessing this. Maybe. What happened?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I can help you.
Could you tell me what's being displayed here in my camera? I'm doing a demonstration here of Be My Eyes app.
People sitting in, looking at you.
Okay, why don't we try to get the fireplace? I can move a little bit, or we could. Okay, what do you see?
There's a fireplace. Yep.
Cool, very nice. And what would you say the overall quality of the room is?
It's good. Yeah, it's looking nice and clean, and audience is like attentive.
Now, okay. Did I seem engaged, or are they falling asleep? You know, you'd be able to tell me. I don't know, right?
No, they look like very attentive, like looking at you, following you, trying to follow you. So yeah.
All right. There you go. I got the subjective answer there. All right. Thank you very much. You have a good one.
You too. Bye bye. Take care.
So, pretty neat, huh? Be My Eyes. It's I use it as a demo, but it's an app that connects blind, visually impaired people with sighted people around the globe, and the goal is to help with any kind of daily tasks. If I'm by myself and I drop something and nobody's there, and they can see my camera, I can call them up and I could ask the person, I dropped my keys on the floor, can you lead my camera, to the floor and try to see if you can find them? Or I need to know what this letter says, this package says. Can you tell me that? And they tell me, guide my camera left, right, and whatever. And there you go. So that's one of the things that, anybody can do this in the service. So it's one of the things that technology has enabled us to do. Another thing that technology is really good for is the buzzword AI. We all know what AI is, right? Everybody loves or hates AI, I don't know, depending on who you are. But AI, artificial intelligence, has done wonders for the blind. And I'm going to demonstrate that now. Let me, all right, I'm going to pull up an example of this AI feature I'm going to show, but do you have anything you want to add to what I've been talking about while I take a second to
We
do
can
this?
see now on your phone on the screen that your phone is totally dark.
Yep.
Even though you're using it.
Yeah, that's because I want to show something.
Okay, so this is something called a screen curtain, which, people who are blind and use the accessibility voiceover can do, which kind of used to drive me crazy when Simon first got his iPhone, because I couldn't tell what he was doing and who he was talking to or what app he was in. And but I did learn how to shut it off, which is a 3-finger tap, right? Shuts off screen curtain. So now I know how to shut it off, and so I could see what he's doing a little bit more. And the app you just saw, it's all volunteer, so anyone can sign up to help people who are blind, and you just get a call if you have time to answer it. You help someone who's blind all over the world, which is really quite amazing and quite an altruistic concept that is, really remarkable, can really change someone's life. What else? I don't know. I'm grateful for Professor Friedman and all the work that you and your office have done for Simon over the 4 years that we've been here. It's it's amazing how fast. Okay, ready?
No. Hold on.
Okay, keep going.
Flip a little more.
Question? Yeah, sure, please.
About the music on the Braille reader, how do you translate sheet music, or does it say, high C, low C?
Do you want me to answer that?
I'm sorry, I was hearing this to figure out what I'm doing.
So Braille music, there is Braille music, and Louis Braille, when he kind of, I won't say discovered the Braille code or kind of reworked it. Originally, it was a military code. It was almost like a Morse code, and it was 9 different dots, but it couldn't fit under the finger comfortably of someone who was blind, so he changed it to 6 dots. So it's basically a configuration, it's code that uses 6 dots for the alphabet and also for words. So they have like a contraction Braille. So like the letter C by itself can be a C, or it can also stand for the word can, because it saves space on a page. You can't change the font size of Braille. It's just one. So the Braille Bible is like a whole bookshelf.
Yeah, it's like 50 volumes.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. But Braille music-wise, so when you mentioned that, Simon, you use the Braille note for the lyrics.
Yes, yeah, I use the lyrics
Yeah.
as like a file, and then that's how I have the information. All the other, the way I do music is I just learn it by ear and by people.
But there is Braille
practicing
music.
with the notes. Yeah. All right, I do have the information here. It's worth the wait. So I'm in a photo here. I don't know. Can you see my screen? Is it? Well, you don't necessarily need to see it right now, but
What it is? Okay.
Share.
I'm in a photo.
Like Summit Township. Edit. Button.
And
Toolbar. Photo. Share.
I'm going to go to the share button, like a regular share sheet.
Share. Mail. But copy.
And I'm going to go down to an option. Oh, why don't we not have it? Do we not have a mic?
Read. Watch.
Oh, there we go.
Assign to content.
All right.
Say it. Recognize.
I'm going to go
Say it.
down.
Recognize with CDI. Say it.
To-
Describe would be my eyes. But
Describe with Be My Eyes. So you heard about Be My Eyes in this one capacity, but I'm going to double tap on this and we'll hear what it says. Okay. Oop.
share. But
So yeah, well, that's a good point. Can you see the photo? Let's try to.
You at a podium.
Right. Yeah. It's a picture of me, and let me. I don't know why the mic is coming in and out here. Let's see if we can get it.
be my eye. The image shows a man standing at a podium, speaking into a microphone. He has short brown hair and is wearing a Marine sweater with a name tag hanging around his back. He is holding a white cane, indicating he might be visually impaired. Behind him, there are 2 flags, one of which is the United States flag. The podium has a sign that reads Ambassador Banquet and Conference Center. There is also a speaker on a stand to the left of the image and 2 water bottles on the podium. The man appears to be speaking with his eyes closed.
There you go. So in a fraction of a second, artificial intelligence software took that picture that I would have no access to before and gave me a detailed 3 to 4 sentence description of what it is. That's pretty incredible. I can also ask follow-up questions. So I can look here
They show
and
he has short brown hair and is wearing a Marine sweater with a name tag hanging around his back. He is holding
I can say, let's see, it said I have a name tag. What does the name tag say? Let's see if I got.
clear text. Send message. Send. Be my eyes ready.
All right.
They're not read image.
All right. So it can't read it. But the point is, I was able to drill down and ask it the question. You know, okay, it says it has a name tag. What does it say? Or sometimes it'll say, there's a young man. And I could say, how do you know the man is young? And it'll give me features about the way the person looked and all that. So it is an incredible use of artificial intelligence and how it is able to provide access to the blind. There are other apps that will allow me, using AI, to take a printed page, whether it be a restaurant menu or a piece of mail or any kind of a form I have to fill out, something like that. I can take a picture of the page and then it'll read it out to me. That's AI doing that work. Another device that I use with a screen reader is my laptop computer, which I have here. and it's the same computer as anyone else would use. There's a regular keyboard, regular computer, and again, the same concept is there. It's a screen reader that's powering that. I will say that as technology has given us so many great things and wonderful advances, there's a lot more to go. While you would think in 2024, almost 2025, everything would be made accessible, that's not the case. For those that have had me as a student, you may have remember certain things, that there were certain accessibility barriers or certain accessibility preferences that I had to use, and that's just because if something is not coded correctly by a screen reader, it will not read it. If a website is not coded correctly to have shortcuts, like for headings, links, that's how I navigate a website. I don't use a mouse, so I can't navigate that way. I use keyboard commands and shortcuts, and if the websites are not labeled properly, it doesn't read. Alt text is really one of the things that everyone can do here if you want to make a blind person's life easier with your digital content online. For Facebook, Instagram, if you post a photo, you can add an alternative text and describe what the photo is, because if that's not described, the computer or the phone will just say the name of the image, and it might be an image that reads 5428339.jpg, whatever, a whole bunch of numbers and letters, because it doesn't know how to interpret it, doesn't know how to describe it. So I always tell people, try verbal description, try writing out, taking a photo that you have on your phone that you know well, and think about, how would I put this into words if I was trying to do that. The last thing we'd like to show, and then we'll get to a little bit of questions, is a disability training video called Disable the Myths. This is best practices on how to interact with people with disabilities. It was developed by my acting group that I'm a part of. I helped to formulate the prompts that we did, the scenes that you're going to see in the video. I'm featured in the video, and you're also going to hear an example of audio description, which my mom wrote as well. So,
words appear. Acting Without Boundaries presents Disable the Myths, interacting with people who have disabilities. In a lobby, a man and a woman sit at opposite cafe tables. The woman turns pages as she reads the novel, The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store. The man, sitting in a wheelchair, closes a hardback book, revealing its cover with the same title. The woman turns her head towards the man, noticing their same novels. She leans forward as if to say something, but the man in the wheelchair rolls away.
I'd like to engage with people with disabilities, but I'm afraid I'm going to say the wrong thing.
A man with a cane.
People with disabilities are like everyone else. So you don't need to be afraid of saying the wrong thing. We can help you. So let's disable the myths about disabilities together.
In a hallway, a doctor, a woman in a wheelchair, and her caregiver.
You had a great appointment today.
To the caregiver.
Do you think she has any other questions?
I can speak for myself. Talk to me, be patient with my answer. It'll be worth the wait.
A playground. A girl uses a walker to go to a swing.
There, let me help you get there a little bit faster.
A man takes hold of her walker. She taps her communication device.
My equipment is part of my body. Please don't touch it unless I give you permission.
In a gym.
Just because I use a scooter doesn't mean I can't get around on my own.
They transfer from the scooter to a chair.
Be careful not to make assumptions. We all need exercise.
They lift a set of weights in each hand. A girl and a man who are blind stand near a sighted woman at an intersection. The light turns green.
The light screen? Here, I'll help you get across.
She grabs his arm.
Please don't touch me before asking.
We use our hearing to listen to traffic patterns. This helps us to know when to cross the street.
And I may be waiting for my Uber ride. You may think you're helping, but just ask us first.
In a parking lot, a car pulls into a reserved spot. The driver sees the reserved parking sign.
Is this a good idea to park in a reserved spot? It'll be fine.
Reserved parking is important for ease of access. Please do not park in a reserved spot if you don't have a disability?
Outside, a woman using a walker approaches a building. She presses the automatic door button. The door opens, and she walks inside. Another woman watches and mouths the word, "Wow," then pats her on the head.
You opened that door all by yourself? You're so amazing!
You don't need to be impressed when I do a basic task. I'm amazing for lots of other reasons.
Various people with disabilities are featured.
I'm an artist.
I'm an on-call counselor.
We play music.
I'm learning Italian.
I'm a bowling camp. We go to concerts.
On a track.
I can run like the wind.
Interacting with a person with a disability can be easy. All we want is to be shown respect and love. Appreciate what I can do and don't focus on what I can't do. And if you look beyond the surface, you might find that you actually have a lot in common.
People in the previous scenarios are smiling, exercising, and crossing the street using Sighted Guide. The man and woman in the cafe sit together talking with their books on a shared table. Words appear. AWB, Acting Without Boundaries. For more information, please visit actingwithoutboundaries.org. Credits appear. A Big Picture Alliance production. Special thanks to Haverford Community Recreation and Environmental Center. This video was made possible through the generous support of Comcast NBC Universal Local Impact Grant.
Audio description written by Maria Seferati. Read by Hannah Branagh.